How's it going, you guys? So I've been taking ashwagandha every day for about a month now, and I made many videos about ashwagandha before, and I've tried many different types of ashwagandha, and I have many different experiences. Recently, the type of ashwagandha that I was taking was a dried herb powder by Terrasol, and it is not an extract, it's not standardized, it's just a whole herb powder. So what have I experienced from 1 month taking this? So first of all, with any adaptogenic herb, the effects are usually, they stack up over time, they're cumulative. Ashwagandha is one that you can feel right away. So I started off with 1/4 of a teaspoon, and that's a pretty small dosage compared to what a lot of people take. And I took that with my morning coffee, with my bulletproof coffee, and it made me feel great. I felt amazing. It gave me like a really great mood boost, and it made me feel energized and strong. After a while, I felt like it wasn't working as good as it used to, so I doubled the dosage and I started taking 1/2 teaspoon. Now, at the time, I didn't realize it, but it actually started to have the opposite effect. It actually started to make me feel like more relaxed, to the point where I felt tired. Like, I'd be at the gym in the middle of my workout, I would just feel like falling asleep. And I thought that it was, just extreme exhaustion from my workouts, which I do believe plays a role, because my workouts have been quite intense and I don't really allow myself enough time off. But I started to notice a direct relationship between taking ashwagandha and then feeling tired about 1 hour after taking it. And so after a while, I started to realize every time I took ashwagandha, I started to feel tired. And so this really started to hit me in the head with reality yesterday, because I had taken my normal half dose and then I took 1/4 of a teaspoon later on in the day with a smoothie. And after I took that in the smoothie, I immediately felt like just going to bed. So, what is the point of all this? The point is that with medicinal herbs, it is a science, and you can't just make blanket terms. You can't just say like, ashwagandha is an energizer, or ashwagandha lowers cortisol, or ashwagandha makes you feel tired, or it makes you feel relaxed, or this or that. It all depends on the form of the herb, the quality of the herb, and the quantity in which the dosage is taken. So if you take a whole herb, if you take just a whole dried herb, it's going to have a much different effect than a standardized extract of the herb, first of all. Second of all, taking 250 milligrams is going to have a far different effect than taking 3 grams. Alright, so with medicinal herbs, it's much different than chemicals or isolated compounds like pharmaceutical drugs. So with pharmaceutical drugs, at least my understanding, I'm probably wrong here, typically the greater the dose, the stronger the effect. But with medicinal herbs, the greater the dose, it just changes the effects, okay? Obviously, the more you take, the more likely it'll increase in potency, but the effects will change, that's the point. So a lower dose isn't necessarily less potent than a higher dose. A lower dose is just going to have a different effect than a higher dose. It's a better way of looking at it. And with ashwagandha, we typically see the smallest doses cause stimulation, they cause energy, but higher doses makes you go to sleep. So it is very important for people to understand this. And unfortunately, you have millions of people around the world who don't know lickety-split about herbs, and they take an herb like ginseng, for example. They take a low-quality brand, and they take a very small dose, because this is the recommended dose on the bottle, and they don't feel anything. And they wonder what's wrong, right? They wonder, like, they start to think like the herbs are just bullshit. The herbs are a bunch of nonsense. And then they go back to their pharmaceutical drugs. But the problem with it is not the herbs. It's not that the herbs don't work. The problem is the lack of intelligence, or better yet, the lack of information that the consumer has acquired. So if you don't really research herbs, if you don't research people's experience, and you don't try for a while, try different herbs and try different experiments with different herbs, you're never going to really understand how they work and how to dose them properly. So again, my experience with ashwagandha was prime example of this. Started off with a small dose. It felt great. Felt like I wasn't getting the same effect, so I upped the dose. Now all of a sudden I started feeling tired and relaxed. Okay, so I've made videos before about how ashwagandha can calm you the fuck down. And that's very, very true, especially at higher dosages. But ashwagandha can also make you it can be a very powerful nootropic and vitalizing herb, but you have to take it in smaller dosages. So a lot of people, what they do is they microdose ashwagandha in the morning, and then they take a huge, a mega dose in the afternoon. So they'll take like a 1/16 of a teaspoon or an 1/8 of a teaspoon in the morning. And then before they go to bed, they'll take a whole teaspoon or a tablespoon. And the reason is the small dose in the morning peps them up. And then the huge dose before they go to bed knocks them out and puts them to sleep. A lot of people are scared of developing tolerance with ashwagandha. The vast majority of people claim ashwagandha has no withdrawal symptoms and no tolerance. But there are a lot of people that claim that it does. But most people say ashwagandha you do not develop a tolerance to. In my experience, I don't think I've collected enough data to feel that on my own. But I did kind of notice a small cutoff effect after about a week of taking it, and that's why I raised the dose. But what I probably could have done is just kept taking it at that dose, maybe lower the dose a little bit, or maybe just take a couple days off. Could have done that, and then start again. And that might be what you want to do if you're taking it at smaller dosages. I haven't taken ashwagandha today, my normal dose, and I actually feel really calm. So I'm thinking maybe the ashwagandha is still in my system, I don't know. But it's a great herb. I do feel like it boosts health and vitality, but I don't feel like it's the best herb for just energy. I think you have to be very careful about what you're doing if you're going to take ashwagandha, because if you don't take the right dose, it'll have the opposite effect of what you want. And the last thing you want is to go to work, taking an herb that, you want to pep you up. Like if you haven't slept all night, you need energy, you try taking ashwagandha for energy, but you take too much of it and then it knocks you out, right? It calms you down instead of pepping you up. Then you're just going to fall asleep in the middle of your meetings. So ashwagandha, I highly recommend it if you're a highly stressed individual. I would recommend taking it probably, either right before dinner, at dinner, or after dinner. Anywhere from 2 to 4 hours before you fall asleep, or before you want to go to sleep. It's a great herb for sleeping. Now, if you want to take it for energy and for minor calming effects and stuff like that, you want to microdose it. I would recommend the whole herb powder just because it's been taken for thousands of years versus the new extracts. We really don't have any long-term studies on these things. They haven't been around for long enough. They are very powerful though if you want a short-term effect. The Himalaya brand has a great extract that I think is great, and they also include the whole herb, which is good just as a safety measure. There's the KSM66, I believe, which is clinically proven to have many great benefits against cancer and the immune system and stress reduction, etc. And then there's also Sensorol, which many people have used for cognitive enhancement. But I prefer to stay as true to the whole herb as I can. But the closest thing to an extract I'll take, I took the Himalaya, which is good, but the tincture extracts are pretty good, or a concentrate like a 4-to-1 extract or a 16-to-1 extract. Those tend to be okay for many people if you get the right one, but it depends on the herb. Don't do that with something like maca. This would not be a great idea. Anyway, that's just a general discussion and my thoughts on what I've been, with ashwagandha the last couple of weeks or what have you. Let me know what you think. I'm probably going to taper off. I'm just gonna stop taking it for like a week, and then I'll probably start taking it again in very small amounts and just see what happens. So let me know what you think. Let me know your experience with ashwagandha. Comment down below, and I'll talk to y'all next time.